Welcome to another edition of the live Pittsburgh Sports Line in the BPTV studio. Got a great night for you. I got my crew with me. Chip Hayner made it. Smoking Jim made it. I'm Al Levine, the Talking Machine. Thanks for watching us on Comcast 7, only in Bethel Park. Verizon 32 in Bethel Park, all the way from Nemacolin to Cranberry, Wexford, and all points in between. We appreciate all of you. And on Facebook, thanks for liking our page. We got 6,868 likes. Appreciate that. Thanks for watching our show and liking it. I got promos to do in a minute or so. We'll get that. But we have a sponsor of our show, Olive Oils. Yeah, we'll start right with Olive Oils Pizzeria. I don't know if we can get a close-up on there, Zach. We'll see what he can do with this. The magician, Zach Taylor. Olive Oils Pizzeria, 412-831-1900. They sponsor our show with a extra large pizza and a steak hoagie. Give them a call at Hillcrest. They'll deliver to you. They got great guys there. See my man Mitch. He'll take care of you. Then I've been promoting our man, the wrestler, Adonis, Sam Adonis. He'll be at the Rex Theater on the 28th. $20, beers, taco, and wrestling. Like he said, how can you beat that in Pittsburgh at the Rex Theater on South Side? Even Smoking Jim knows where that's at. There'll be great wrestling there.
Go Gateway.
On South Side, so check it out. Yeah. And then we end each show with Stay Joey Strong. The Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation's a 501c3. They do lots of events in the area. Zach, excellent close-up there. You're on fire tonight. That's Zach Taylor, one of our volunteers.
Little Z!
Right here in Bethel Park. He will not be moving the gateway. And he knows when you own a pet, it's your pet. You don't give a pet to somebody else and say you own it. But the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation has raised over $100,000 in the last 4 years. Donate some money to them and help them out to try to find a cure for DIPG. Next up is the Bethel Park Historical Society Schoolhouse Arts and History Center. They have a lot of events that they hold in the community for businesses. They even rent out the place. They have all new windows in there. It's a 100-year-old place. It's great. Check out their next events that are coming up. Go to their website, Bethel Park Historical Society. Check them out. Next, Dave Cable likes to have a little fun at my expense. He put my face on Uncle Sam. Uncle Al wants you for BPTV so you could be here like Jack and Zach. We got the Jack-Zach team here. Call 412-831-3304. You can be a volunteer and help in the studio, and right now they're munching on pizza. They like that Olive Oils Pizzeria with sausage, pepperoni, and bacon. Look at that. Look at the moves Zach's making. Yeah. All right, last one is BPCF.org. Bethel Park Community Foundation has money for you. I just heard they had a cornhole tournament at the community center Saturday on the 23rd.
I missed it.
Nobody told me about it. Smoking Jim and I were doing fights, first Golden Glove fights in Millvale. What a night of fights. We'll talk about that later, but it was just great. But check out bpcf.org. Get an application. They have from $100 to $5,000 for you for your group and organization in Bethel Park. So check that out. And then we have a sponsor, Skeet Service Station. You could just put the camera on me now, Zach. That'd be fine. We can handle that. Skeet Service Station. I'm seeing all three of us. I know.
Jack.
I'm telling you. Give him some guidance.
There we go.
There
you
something
go.
happened. Now,
Yeah, that just went out.
now I'm looking there. We got it. Okay. See what teamwork we have. It's live TV, folks. Call 724-348-4715. It's past Trax Farm in Mineral Beach, Skeet Service Station. I had to go there Monday. My back brakes when I was coming back from Millville were screeching. Sure enough, I needed new brakes. And then my front tire was bad. I got a new tire. Skeets fixed me up with a new tire and brakes. So I'm back on the road again. Didn't miss a beat and had a Bethel Park donut at their smorgasbord on Monday. So it all worked out. Check it out, Skeet Service Station, right in Finleyville. Good place to go. And we're going to start our show with, he sponsors What's on Your Mind. Smoking Jim Frazier, what's on your mind?
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
Coming at you.
you got to see Levine. That was my Deshaun Jackson. Get deep behind you. If we're even, I'm leaving.
Go ahead.
But hey, I just want to first say congratulations to our Pittsburgh Pirates. Look like they're going to win the Grapefruit League World Series, which ain't nothing wrong with that.
They don't have, Smoking Jim, they don't have a World Series.
They don't.
No,
Nothing wrong with that if such a thing existed.
they don't have that.
Well, they tearing up the Grapefruit League, so congratulations to the Pittsburgh Pirates. But I tell you what, I've always been looking for a charity to donate to. And I'm putting $100,000 a year into the casino, about $250 a day. So, and they do good. They do good.
Mm-hmm.
They invest a lot of that money into the community.
No,
so,
senior citizens get some help.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I tell
And
you,
if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
I hate Villanova. I'll never bet on Villanova again. How they lose to Xavier. You
They
know?
didn't score enough points.
But what's on my mind?
What's on your mind?
What's on my mind is, I tell you what, this is the last couple of days of Black History Month. This is our last Black History
We never would have known it from you.
Month show. So what I'm going to do in honor of Black History is I'm gonna take a stand. There's no way I believe that Robert Kraft is guilty. There's no way I'm going to believe that this man went down to a strip mall to look for prostitutes. I don't believe it. I think he's being framed. No way. Everybody has a look-alike. Everybody has a double. The only thing that me and Robert Kraft have in common, we both prefer Chinese women. But I tell you what, I got to ask you, Chip, I never could tell the difference between a Chinese woman and a Japanese woman. All I know is they both beautiful. So in honor of Black History, Robert Kraft has done a lot of good for the Black community over the years. I love his macaroni and cheese. I don't believe that he would be dumb enough to do what they say he's doing. So I believe he's innocent until proven guilty.
Well,
and that's what's on my mind.
The videotape don't lie.
The one thing I don't want to see, Chip, please, out there, everybody out there that can hear my voice all around the world, I do not want to see that on YouTube. Please, we don't want to see Robert Kraft without a suit on YouTube. And that's what's on my mind. Do you agree? You don't want to see that, do you, Al Levine, the talking machine?
Hey, Smoking Jim, I don't know how you can say
Well, Tom Brady still kiss him in the mouth.
How can you say he's still innocent? That's what I want to know. You're a man that tries to play to the crowd, and you did it today. Because I don't know what that has to even do with Black History Month.
I got a better one on this. You ready?
Yeah.
So what's on my mind?
Well, before you ask that, let me ask the question. Will Tom Brady still kiss Robert Kraft
Who
in the
cares?
Not below the waist.
Who cares?
Now, this is
Who
what I
cares? That's
believe.
enough of that, Smoking Jim.
I believe that Bob Kraft is about as innocent as R. Kelly.
What a shame.
Yeah, what a shame. So, now getting back to sports, we've had a little bit of a chuckle here, and Jim and I like to giggle like a couple of little girls every once in a while. But you asked me what's on my mind, and so
Yes.
I'm thinking hard and long, and we've got a lot of different things going on in the sports world. We've got a Pirate season that there's every reason to be optimistic for, which I'm very much looking forward to. Sure. Enjoy reading about the day-to-day trials and tribulations of the team. Mm-hmm. And then you've got a Penguin team what was at one time a championship caliber team that the wheels are falling off the bus in a rapid hurry. I think at this point, trades that were made yesterday were the general manager panicking, and I don't believe that they're trades that made the team better, but time will tell. But more importantly, if you ask me what's on my mind, and last week Antonio Brown met with Art Rooney Jr., and Art Rooney Jr. just finally decided to get involved in the operations of his team because the wheels were falling off that bus quite rapidly. All of your star athletes that were considered to be the best at their positions no longer want to play with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that's really, really odd because the Steelers have a history of being a destination, not some place that players are trying to get away from. So unfortunately, there will be no Le'Veon Bell next year. And if the Steelers were to get a satisfactory trade option with Antonio Brown, potentially Antonio Brown could be gone. Probably the greatest receiver the Pittsburgh Steelers may have ever seen. So that leads me to make a pretty bold statement, and I'll make the statement first and explain why after.
Whoa.
I strongly feel that as long as a certain Mr. Roethlisberger remains the quarterback of the team, that the Pittsburgh Steelers will not win another Super Bowl with him at the helm.
Wow.
I believe that the general manager, that the coach has gone ahead and given the quarterback carte blanche to say and do whatever he wants about his teammates, and that's supposed to be okay. He calls out his teammates on local radio programs, in the press, whatever, and it has alienated quite a number of players. Do you see how many people are looking to jump ship? Well, next you get the general manager, who after the visit with Antonio Brown has decided to give carte blanche to Ben Roethlisberger to continue with this behavior, not seeing that this behavior is part of the problem. I don't understand it. I think all you're going to do is create a monster. You're going to have fewer and fewer people, and enjoy Juju Smith-Schuster for the next 2, maybe 3 years, because he's going to be the next one that's going to jump ship. And how are we going to replace all of these top caliber athletes that we've been fortunate enough to draft and develop on our own? Because the Steelers, they're not going to sign free agents. They never have, never will. Mm-hmm. Okay, and what are we going to get in return for Antonio Brown? Are we going to get equal value for him? Probably not.
No.
And if we don't, is he going to be a malcontent? Because he's going to be dealing with the same situation that put him in the place that he's in right now. So I believe that the Steelers have really fallen flat on their face with this one, and I don't think the prospects moving forward are going to be bright. But that's just my humble opinion, and that's what's on my mind.
Can I say one thing before we go to Al Levine, the
Always.
talking machine? I just want to say there's only one thing that can squeeze another Super Bowl out of Big Ben, and that's the McCarthy era. It comes down to that. Nobody wants to hear it, but Coach McCarthy will straighten all that out. Mm-hmm. And
just like he did in Green Bay, right?
Just like Gruden did in Tampa Bay, yeah. Mm-hmm. But that's my opinion.
Oh, how about what Gruden did with the Raiders?
Like you said, the Steelers are falling flat on their face with what they're doing now. What could it hurt? Could it hurt?
No.
It can't get any worse.
I would start looking for
It
life.
could get worse.
I'm starting to look forward to life without Ben.
There we go. You've heard it from Chip. What's on my mind is I've been listening to the Pirates. I listened to their first 2 wins, and I was missing their third game. So I happened to turn it on, and it was 6-6. 9th inning, bottom of the 9th. Some guy named Hayes
Brian Hayes
hits his second home run, and it's a grand salami,
Wow.
a grand
Walk-off.
slam. Walk-off ended the game 10-6. I'm like, who the heck is Brian Hayes? And then I'm listening to because I like listening to stats in baseball, hence trivia time with Chip and nonsense with Smoking Jim. But, they're going through what players did, and here Kong, they were worried about him hitting. He had 2 home runs. So Kong hit 2 homers.
And he hit 2 home runs on the first 2 pitches he saw.
Wow. So he's redeeming himself. Now with Hayes, he's playing third. Kong's playing third. Lo and behold, we needed some power. 4 home runs, 8 RBIs.
Wow.
Out of third base.
Wow.
Our problem is solved. Go Pirates. That's what's on my mind.
Can I ask one question?
Might as well be optimistic instead of negative Ned. Smoking Jim, yes?
Well, what team does Hayes play for? Is he a Pirate?
He is a Pirate prospect. Right now he plays.
We won the game.
He plays for
We
the
won the
Altoona
game.
Curve. He
Black
was
or
in
white?
double A.
Black or white?
He's African American.
All right, I can cheer for him.
Charlie Hayes was his father, who played for the
You know
Phillies
him.
at one time.
Wasn't there a baseball movie with a Hayes in it?
Yeah.
Willie Mays Hayes.
That wasn't his daddy, was it?
Just a bit outside. Right?
Willie Mays Hayes. Smoking Jim Frazier has not been a baseball fan till he got on Pittsburgh Sportsline. Now I'll look at him. He's all grown up. Well, we're going to be back with some fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac.
Hi, I'm Gary. I'm a recruiter for the 2020 census. And I want to talk about an opportunity that only comes along once every 10 years. It's a decennial census. And we're hiring hundreds of people. No testing involved, no resumes. To apply for these jobs, the website is 2020census.gov/jobs. With great pay, flexible hours. The hours are great. You can work morning, evening, afternoons, whatever suits your schedule. And it's weekly pay, which is a great thing. And also there's paid training, and also we pay from the time you leave the house to the time you get home, along with mileage. Apply right now. Thank you so much. Again, 2020census.gov/jobs. Thank you for your time.
One of the things we do at BPTV is encourage our producers to film on location. Not only does shooting on location give our producers the opportunity to take advantage of their subject matter, filming in different locations gives each program its own distinct flavor. This also helps anyone who's flipping through the channels avoid confusion when they turn on BPTV. With around 500 programs produced at BPTV each year, the last thing we want people to think is that we're only broadcasting one program. So, you need to come into BPTV to pitch your TV show, but in terms of where you actually end up taping your show, the sky's the limit.
Thanks, Al Levine, the Talkman Machine. Thanks, Chip Hayner. Thanks, my man Jack with that swag, brother. Jack got it going on. And my main man, Lil Z, future Gateway Gator, Zion Williamson.
Damn, you know water skis.
That's what Zion Williamson needs, brother. But here's what you guys that are engineering majors and all that, here's what you got to learn. I wear size 14 shoe. But when you can get a $210 pair of shoes for $21, I'll take a size 17. See, that's how we learn with the general studies major, brother. When you get a good deal like that, it may be 3 sizes too big. if Zion Williamson would have learned that. But anyhow, we'll have classes. We'll have economy classes later.
And I just
But
want to
it's on.
go back,
on my
go back to studying those generals.
That's a Pittsburgh sports line first.
couple pair of socks and you're all right, brother. $21. They couldn't sell it at Burlington.
I understand that. And that was only the right shoe.
I got 2 pair.
It only-
$400 for under $50.
wow. And he can only wear one because that's the only one that almost fit.
But what's on my mind is old fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac. Alderdice
Yeah.
under Buddy. And I tell you what, Alderdice is the first City League team ever to win 6 consecutive City League record championship titles in a row. They broke the 1950, huh?
And I was going to say, and whose record did they break?
Westinghouse.
The House.
From 1950
The
to 1954. Some good one. Maurice Stokes and those guys. Ed Fleming.
They
and
were
some
balling.
I read about
Great
that.
NBA player.
I read about that.
And the fiction and fact, I was there when it all began. It began 6 years ago. They were playing Obama, who Darrell Porter's son at the time was a senior. Obama was the number 1 rated team in the state, 23-0, heavily favored. We did the TV for that. It was the first time a City League championship game was ever played on one of the team's home court. So it was on Obama's court, which was very unfair. Alderdice came in with a very young team. Had a bunch of sophomores on that team.
Some
the
good
Jackson
players.
Twins. Nobody gave them a chance. They were a 500 basketball team. Before the game, I'm on TV predicting that Alderdice was going to upset Obama. I believed that, and it came down. What a great game! Alderdice beat Obama, and the sad part about it for Obama, 23-0. Both city teams were at the highest classification level. A lot of times you got one City League team that might be in 1A, one city team might be a 3A, a 5A, a 6A. They were both a 6A caliber team, so only the winner advanced to the PIAA. Where now, if they was in a different level, all of them could have went. And that was the biggest upset. A lot of tears in that. A lot of tears. It was a
At
standing
Obama.
room only crowd, unlike the Peterson Event Center that was pretty bare this weekend.
Obama, that used to be Peabody, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's what's on my mind. Congratulations to Buddy. I believe this might be his last year. He might be stepping down.
Get
But
on.
nobody knows that.
Well,
But,
good thing he gave.
Good thing he didn't
Good
tell
thing you can keep it secret.
I keep that under my hat.
Yeah, good thing that Jim can keep
I
it
don't
secret.
want to let it out. But,
I'll tell
What
you
did the
what,
women do?
he was.
Huh?
What did the women do?
6 years ago?
No.
Or this week?
They
that
won.
was
The women
that was
won.
Yeah, that was. It
I
was
thought you should
sad.
mention that.
It was sad. Yeah, Alderdice beat Obama, and Obama's coaching staff had 3 All-Americans: Darrell Porter, Rod Rutherford, and Monique McCoy as their coaches. And Alderdice had just one black lady coach, and she beat them. Both got young
So the
teams.
coaches played the coaches?
The coaches could have played the
They
coaches.
played the coaches.
But the players played. But I tell you what, Obama got a freshman named Perkins. Samita, I think, Perkins, 24 points, 8 rebounds. She looked like she's going to be
Did
a
you say a
freshman.
freshman?
Only in 9th grade. Now, her sister is not a twin. She got a sister on the team, maybe a junior or senior, another Perkins. But they're pretty good. But they both advanced to the playoff. Alderdice are good. Fast, young girls. They play 3 guards, high
Whoa.
tempo, fast break. But I thought Obama. I was pulling for Obama because I always pull for Coach McCoy.
Yeah,
Boy,
that's
she
our
pretty.
that's our coach.
She's so pretty
Yes, she is, and a good coach,
and built
and a good
and a
coach,
good dresser.
and a good coach. Thank you, Smoking Jim Frazier. We appreciate that. Next up.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to my trivia segment. And been doing a lot of thinking lately because, well, my favorite time of the year is upon us. Spring training is here. Won't be very long before we start hearing the crack of that bat, and opening day is right around the corner, and I've already got my tickets to the game. What about you, Jim?
He may get
Are
200.
Are you waiting for the Pirates to give you
200.
100 of them, right?
200.
And free passes to the zoo?
200.
And a glass of warm milk. But, you know,
And a box of Cracker Jacks.
starting to think about, you know, and it's well documented that I'm a student of the history of the game. You know, I believe in the traditions that the sport has held on to. Baseball's been around 150 years. It's been around longer than professional football. It's only recently welcoming its 100th year. And then they've been playing Major League Baseball longer than they've been playing hockey in Canada. So
Amazing.
one of the things, but in the last 2 years, two records were set. It was set in 2017 and it was broken in 2018. And the first time ever in the history of Major League Baseball that there was over 40,000 strikeouts in a season. So in the year of 2017, and this is just in the 162 game season. This does not count spring training. This does not count the playoffs. But there was 40,104 strikeouts in 2017. Wow. And one of my complaints with the way the game is being played now, and one of the things that I don't like much about it, is the shift. Because basically what teams are daring hitters to do is we're going to give you the entire half of the field where you can hit the ball, and if you can hit the ball in that section of the field, you can get extra bases without putting forth too much effort. And the hitters in baseball nowadays don't seem to know how to hit the ball the other way, and they hit into the shift constantly, and it makes me scratch my head because with the kind of money these young men are getting to play this game, I think I would spend a little bit more time perfecting my craft. So what did we follow up 2017 with? In 2018, for the very first time in the history of Major League Baseball, there was more strikeouts in a season than there were hits.
No way.
Straight up. There was 41,000 strikeouts, 207.
Wow.
Okay, in 2018. Which kind of got me thinking about, I wonder what strikeout totals were from, you know, in the past, or what some Major League records are. So I've got some strikeout team records that I'm going to give you some facts and figures on. And then I'm going to go for some individual strikeout records, not so much by the batters that can't hit, because I don't think that we should give them the recognition. I want to recognize the pitchers that are defeating the hitters. So first we're going to go to the fewest strikeouts in a season by a team. In 1927 was the year that the Pirates got swept by the Murderers Row Yankees lineup in 4 games. But the team with the fewest strikeouts in a season was the Philadelphia Athletics, with 326 strikeouts for the year. For the year.
Wow.
And the fewest strikeouts in a season in the National League goes all the way back to the 1921 Cincinnati Reds with 308 strikeouts.
Wow.
So I'm looking now at the most strikeouts by a team in a season.
All right.
And we're going to go American League first. The, what do they call that? The junior circuit, right? Then we'll go to the senior circuit. So the most strikeouts in the American League were by the 2013 Houston Astros, 1,535.
Wow.
Okay? And the most strikeouts in a season in the National League, that dubious honor falls on the 2010 Arizona Diamondbacks with 1,529.
Wow.
So those are some pretty staggering numbers, I'd have to say. And for all the ridicule that this man to my left has heaped on the Pirates, you notice how they weren't mentioned in either of those records. Goodness gracious. But some more strikeout records. The most strikeouts ever in an extra innings game. There were 2 that were tied in the American League. California at Oakland had 26 strikeouts combined by both teams in 20 innings. And the New York Yankees and the Chicago White Sox on 5/7/2017, no big surprise there, in a 18-inning game, 26 strikeouts. In the National League, we go back way back to 2017. 26 strikeouts with the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Milwaukee Brewers. And the second most was a Milwaukee versus Chicago on May 15th, 2003, in 17 innings with 24 strikeouts. Now, the most strikeouts in an extra inning game, both teams. Okay? Here's some interesting facts. This goes back to 1971. The California Angels and the Oakland A's, 43 strikeouts in a game.
Wow.
The Los Angeles Dodgers and the Milwaukee Brewers, 42 in a 12-inning game. San Francisco and San Diego each had 20 on 6/19/2001 in 15 innings, 40 strikeouts. And the most ever in a major league game, the New York Yankees and the National League Chicago Cubs in 2017 combined for 48 strikeouts in one game. And these are the teams that spend how many hundreds of millions of dollars on their payroll? That's money that's well spent. I can go through some more of these, but I'm going to go to some individual records when we start talking about some of the men responsible for striking out the batters. And, you know, the most strikeouts by a pitcher in the American League was Roger Clemens, 4,167. In the National League,
Is he in the Hall of Fame?
nope.
Okay.
In the National
Didn't he
League,
take PEDs?
Steve Carlton with 4,000 strikeouts for he pitched for St. Louis, Philadelphia, and San Francisco. Now, the major league leader in strikeouts for his career was none other than Nolan Ryan, and the reason why he didn't have the most in either league because he pitched in both leagues. And he had the most strikeouts with 5,714, pitched for the California Angels, the Texas Rangers, the New York Mets, and the Houston Astros. Interesting here, most strikeouts by a lefty in the American League. Somebody who will pitch their last season in Major League Baseball this year, CC Sabathia for the New York Yankees. He's
He's bigger
2,846.
He weighs more than you.
Oh, I'm telling you what, he's large and in
Yeah.
charge. For the
You're
National
big.
League,
And you're big.
Steve Carlton with 4,000, and a Major League record would be none other than Randy Johnson, the big unit, 4,875. He played for Montreal, the Seattle Mariners, the Houston Astros, the Arizona Diamondbacks, the New York Yankees, and the San Francisco Giants. And then, you know, we can get into the most strikeouts by a right-hander, but we know that Nolan Ryan has that one. Most games in their career with 10-plus strikeouts. In the American League, it would have been none other than Nolan Ryan with 148.
Wow.
Okay? In the National League, 10-plus career strikeout games, it was Randy Johnson with 114, and combined for their career, Nolan Ryan had 215 games where he struck out more than 10 batters. That is quite an accomplishment. Most games in a career with 15-plus strikeouts. In the American League, Nolan Ryan with 23. In the National League, it was Randy Johnson, and overall, it was Randy Johnson with 29 games. Randy Johnson had 12, 15-plus strikeout games. Nolan Ryan had 23. So, the question I have, are the hitters getting worse or are the pitchers getting better? And I know that there has been some talk about making some changes to the game. And I know after 1968, and Jim remembers this well, we were discussing this off the air, they called that the year of the pitcher. That was the year that Denny McLain won 32 games, or was it 31?
31.
It was 31 games. And Bob Gibson of the St. Louis Cardinals had an ERA of 1.13 or 1.12. And they felt that the game was.
But he lost 9 times that year.
Yeah, but he lost games like 1-0. He gave up 1 run and his team didn't play any.
He had like 9 losses.
But what they did after they called that the year of the pitcher, because the pitchers were so much better than the hitters that year that they lowered the pitching mound by 6 inches, and that's the way it has been since. Now there has been talk about potentially moving the mound, and one of the constants in baseball from the beginning of the game is 60 feet 6 inches, and I think it would be a big disservice to the game for them to change that. How about if hitters worked at their craft a little better, and learned how to adjust to what the pitchers are throwing. Everybody's throwing the ball 95, 100 miles an hour. Every team's got at least 1, possibly 2 pitchers that throw 100 mile an hour heat. But, if you study the way the pitchers pitch and, learn how to hit, you could change this trend. I am interested to see if we break 42,000 strikeouts this season, or whether we get that number back under 40 grand.
Yeah.
I'm thinking there'll be another
more.
record this
Yeah.
year. But that's what I got for my trivia for you this week. Don't worry, I'll dig in the archives and I'll find some more tidbits.
Thanks,
Can I
Chip.
say,
Next
can I
week.
say one thing before we go to Elevate and the Taco Machine? The one thing
No,
I didn't
no.
see as far as strikeouts, players, batters striking out, I see my Cincinnati Reds wasn't in there. My Cincinnati they don't strike out.
Yeah, well, the Cincinnati Reds,
My Cincinnati Reds don't strike out.
yeah, well, 308 strikeouts in 1921, the fewest strikeouts in a season
Yeah,
in the National
that's
League.
good.
That's good. There are players. There's one player on the Yankees that almost struck out that many times himself last year.
Pete Rose and those guys didn't strike out. They were good.
No, well, Pete Rose wasn't on the 1921 Cincinnati Reds. He's been around a while, but not that long, Jim. We're not.
Hey, Smoking Jim, let me add something. Pete Rose is going to be the only guy in history to have more hits than anybody else and not be in the Hall of Fame.
Wow.
And not be in the Hall of Fame.
Only God can judge.
He signed his rights away. Thank you, Smoking Jim, and that's it for Chip. We'll move on.
Matt Moore used to wear that jersey.
I don't know that angle. Fix that camera here. Where's Zach at?
There you go.
Oh, there we go.
Hey, just tilt your head
I just
out.
had to move. I just had to move. All right. We're good. On location. Thanks, Jack. We'll be back at Olive Oil's Pizzeria March 11th, 9:30 Brookline Boulevard, 7:30 to 8:30. We're lining up guests for the show. It should be a great night. Skip Atkins will be out there. The legend that shares all of our stuff out there. My man, 83 years old. God bless him. He does share it. He got his Pittsburgh Sportsline hat, his Pittsburgh Sportsline polo shirt. He looks sharp. And he enjoys our show and loves what we talk about, especially Tuesday night. He likes Chip and the baseball talk. He told me to tell him thanks.
No, I appreciate you, and I will keep it coming, and I'll keep it fresh and exciting.
There we go. You can't beat that. On location, we'll have different guests coming in. We're trying to get some boxers lined up. Did talk to Becca Main. She's fighting this weekend at the Wolfpack Boxing Club in Carnegie. So if you want to see a nice young female fighter, check her out.
Is that Golden Gloves?
This one's an unsanctioned bouts.
Okay.
There's some unsanctioned bouts in Carnegie, right there in Wolfpack Boxing Club. Just Google it, you'll find out. They got a bunch of fighters, even Teddy Marconja, Jerome Baxter should be fighting, and many others. So it should be a good night of fights. So check it out. We'll actually be somewhere else. We'll talk about that later. Smoking Jim and I will be at the Priory Hotel with Mike McSorley and his fighters, a couple Ukrainian guys, and Michael the Bull Manna.
Yes.
Can't beat that, plus a bunch of others. So we got a great night of fights coming up. That's March 2nd. But yeah, on location, that's the 11th. Check it out. Make sure you come out and see us. Frank Fanera has great food, fresh food, and he may have some specials for you. Sometimes he runs a $5 large pizza special. Come on out and order that, and $5 large hoagies. He may have that too. So join us that night. We'll have a great night of sports talk and food. You can't go wrong talking sports and eating food. So it's a great night there. We'll see you then, and we'll come back with some Penguins talk.
Yeah, that team is just.
I brought out a show on the radio about 5 or 6 years ago to try to share a lot of the information that I run across on a weekly basis with clients, and to share those experiences and the knowledge gained from other people's either mistakes or the correct decisions they've made and their successes, and to try to share that with the community so more people could benefit. So we came over and met Dave, and it was real easy. He said, there you go, are you ready? We're very lucky to have this and the resources over here, where it would be quite expensive to try to produce a show like this elsewhere. Bethel Park TV is offering it to all of us. I hope this grows a lot, and I hope a lot more people do take advantage of this. You're missing out on a marvelous opportunity if you don't. It's really a free gift for you to be able to share yourself and your experiences and what your value is with others at low to no risk. Anyone who's considering doing a show, come on out of your shell. Come on over here. Dave's very gentle, very nice. He'll help guide you through this. If you make mistakes, he'll edit it out and record it over, so don't worry about saying something wrong. Just come over and share what you have with others. Just be yourself, come over here and let other people see who you are, why you're here, and who you're trying to help and what you're trying to say. It is that easy.
Penguin update, they're up 2-0. Can't beat that. But they've had such an up and down season. They're tied for the last wild card spot right now. They could not make it.
If
No.
they were to end right now, they would be out because whoever
The
Carolina's got the tiebreaker on them.
That's what I thought I heard. Yeah, we're in the last spot, but the tiebreakers throw us out. The curse of Fleury that Smoking Jim brought up must be true.
Yes.
Because they may not make the playoffs.
And I don't think it has anything to do with Marc-Andre Fleury playing for the Penguins or playing for anybody else. It has everything to do with the inconsistency with the team, with the lack of a concerted defensive effort. mental breakdowns. They lead
They're
the
scoring
league.
at times. They're scoring.
They lead the league in shorthanded goals against.
like 13, I think.
You know, which is totally a lack of discipline when they've got control of the puck when they're having a
On
man
the
advantage.
offensive line.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're playing 5-on-4, and the other teams are and
Outscoring.
shorthanded goals are backbreakers in the game of hockey. They really take the wind out of the sails.
just
Wa-
ask Smoking Jim.
Watching the game Saturday night, played at Lincoln Field in Philadelphia. One of the things that was very glaring, I think that was the swan song of the Penguins. They lost their top 2 defensemen.
Yeah,
Wayne Simmons hit
Dumoulin.
Dumoulin, and I believe that he hit him in the head, that he targeted the head, he bounced his head off the glass. Now all of a sudden he's concussed and he can't play. And then in trying to defend his teammate, Chris Letang was taken down to the ice kind of roughly, and I believe he has a neck injury. And this is the same guy that had surgery on his neck, not last year, but the year before.
Sure.
So, how long are these players going to be out? I don't know. The Penguins had to finish the game with only 4 defensemen. They usually play with 6. And subsequently, they lost a game that they were winning 3-1 going into the late into the third period, gave up the game-tying goal with 20 seconds left on a goal that should have never got past Matt Murray. And that goal was on Matt Murray.
Sure.
And then they get into overtime and they lose in overtime. And the one thing the Penguins can't afford to do is to lose games right now. Now they're playing the Columbus Blue Jackets tonight, and in the next week they have not only tonight's game against the Blue Jackets, but 2 more.
No, I think
2
3 more. I heard it was 4 games they have. toward the end
Maybe
of the
between
season.
now and the rest of
Yeah,
the season, but
rest of the
within the
season.
next week we've got 3 against the Columbus Blue Jackets, and this is one of the teams that we're scratching and clawing. And if anybody paid attention, to the trade deadline, like Jim
Smoking
does,
Jim.
okay,
Yeah.
the
made some
Columbus
big trades.
the Columbus Blue Jackets went all in this year to
They're in it
make
to
the
win
fin-
it.
Well, and
They're in it. Smoking
and Mike
Jim.
Rutherford made a trade yesterday, and I honestly don't think that the man that the biggest piece of the trade that they made yesterday is somebody that's really going to be of a benefit to the Penguins, other than to being an experienced defenseman. One of the things that they use to measure a player's worth to their team is they call it the plus-minus rating, and what that means, so that my dear friend here to my left understands, is that means when you're on the ice, does the other team score more goals or does your team score more goals? So you want your rating to be a plus something. Well, this, and I can't even pronounce his name right now. The gentleman that
Begins
we
with a
traded
B
for,
or something?
Gunderson or something like
Yeah.
that. But he's a minus 27. Okay, I mean,
Hold it, Penguin fans. Guess who's minus 19? Genny Malkin.
Evgeny Malkin.
Minus 19.
And here's the problem with the Penguins this year.
Minus 19.
You could cry about Marc-Andre Fleury all you want, and everybody knows that when the Penguins got rid of Marc-Andre Fleury, he was a salary cap casualty, and there was nothing else that could be done
Plus,
about
he was
that.
10 years older.
But the Pittsburgh Penguins are a star-driven team, okay? And what the Penguins need is they need their stars to shine on a nightly basis. Now, I will tell you this. Without a lot of fanfare, Sid Crosby is the best player in hockey. And it's not that he does one thing really, really well. It's just that he does everything well.
Yeah.
And he plays so seamlessly and so well with whomever they put out there that, you don't even realize the great things that he's doing. But the star power that the Penguins have is not delivering.
Where's Kessel?
Evgeny Malkin, where are you? Phil Kessel, hello. Do you still play for the Penguins? How about Hornquist,
Hornquist.
who signed a big contract extension
His
over the
concussions
season?
may have caught up to him.
He has disappeared. And if the Penguins stars aren't scoring, you got the 2 people that are scoring with frequency for the Penguins, Jake Gensel and Sid Crosby, but they can't carry the load all by themselves, And the next thing that I see as a problem is that Mike Sullivan, the head coach, is not really pleased with the effort that his team is putting out night in and night out. So what he is doing almost on a nightly basis, he's mixing up the lines constantly.
Yeah.
And there is no consistency to the line. So from one shift to the next, a player doesn't know who he's going to be skating with. And how do you get any consistency? And it's obvious by what we're seeing with them play. They have moments where they're lights out. They're 2 up on Columbus right now. Well, you know what? I fear what's going to happen in the third period, because what they've been doing, they've been giving up 2 and 3 goal leads late in games. Because they're not protecting their leads. Because when you get to the point where you're no longer attacking, you make yourself susceptible to be attacked. So
Sure.
There's a lot of different issues going on, and the unfortunate thing is about hockey is that coaches come and go, and it doesn't matter how many Stanley Cups you win, but if the message isn't getting through,
they only average about 4.3 years.
Right.
For a coach.
So is Mike Sullivan going to ultimately end up being a casualty? I think the Penguins are in a big mess of trouble, and I think Mike Rutherford might have lost a little bit of his magic touch. But,
yeah, he's a little bit off. He's more reactionary right now than what he is on what they need.
And I think he panicked yesterday because he needed defensemen because he doesn't have enough,
Sure.
experienced defensemen. But I mean, somebody that's,
What can you do? He made the moves.
He
We'll see what
made the
happens.
moves. We've got about 20 games left this year. The Penguins are behind the 8 ball. They can't afford to be giving up any points. And, I think the next week will be very telling, because if we lose 3 to the Columbus Blue Jackets, I don't think there's going to be any making that ground up.
No,
It's
too difficult.
It's gotten too late in the season, and we kept on saying, they're going to get it together. They're going to get it together. We saw brief glimpses of what they can be, but then, we see them as good as they can be, and then we see them play as poorly as anybody can play. And I know it's going to be frustrating for the coach and the general manager. Yeah, Jim.
What did Stan Savran say?
I already told you.
Stan Savran said today that he doesn't feel that this Penguins team is going to make the playoffs.
They haven't
So that
been
being
consistent
said,
enough.
That being said,
Are you happy now?
if the
Negative
Pittsburgh
Ned.
Pirates don't make
Hey,
the
negative
playoffs,
Ned.
we want to fire everybody. Okay. Now, the Pittsburgh Steelers didn't make the playoffs for the first time in 5 years. We wanted to fire the coach, the general manager, the owner. We wanted to trade the star wide receiver. We're not going to bring back the star running back. Everybody, blow it up and let's start from scratch. So what's going to happen with a team as talented as the Pittsburgh Penguins if they do not make the playoffs this year?
Heads will roll.
No, maybe he gets a get-out-of-jail-free card, some 2 back-to-back championships that were in our recent memory. We can't forget about those, but it's not what have you done for us, is what are you doing for us right now.
Exactly.
And,
Just like before the last loss, Murray stopped 88 out of 90 shots. 88 out of 90. Can you imagine that? Fleury doesn't even do that.
They benched Murray, though?
No.
No,
They
they
played.
haven't. Now, tonight,
No.
I know he's playing.
Negative, Ned. They did not.
bench him one
No,
day
Ned.
Against the Flames.
No,
Didn't he
Ned.
get benched?
No, Ned.
no,
he
he
played-
actually got against. I think it was against San Jose. Maybe he got benched.
Yeah.
They lost
It
4-0.
was the Sharks. It was the Sharks. You don't follow it enough
But
to
I
know
hope
the
they-
names.
I hope the Penguins makes the playoffs. That way they can bring out the big screen on Fifth Avenue so the fans can watch it.
Right now,
Okay,
Matt Murray's in net tonight.
Yeah, I knew he was in that.
How'd you know?
I
You
followed-
bet against
I
them.
And see, here's the thing. The only thing I think the Penguins got going for them is the Blue Jackets' #1 goaltender, Sergei Bobrovsky.
Yeah.
And the Penguins have notoriously pounded him. But it's the end of the first period with the Penguins up 2-0, and we'll see where this is going to go. But
We'll find out. I'm hopeful for the Penguins. They're one of the few teams that can turn a switch on, but they need to leave it on. They've only been turning it on for 2 games, 4 games, 6 games.
No, the problem is they turn it on for 2 periods.
Yeah.
The problem is the game's 3 periods, and then they end up losing in the 3rd period. So they played. Looks like they played a lights out first period. Murray only stopped 5 shots. So apparently,
Wow,
you know,
good D.
so that means that the
Those
Penguins.
defensive players helped them.
Well, you know, an offense can be your best defense as
I
well.
understand.
If you can keep the puck in the other team's end of the ice,
Well, that's the
they
goal.
can't shoot it on your goaltender. So
That's how you score.
it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. And don't worry, we'll monitor it, and let's see if they can turn this around. I mean, we don't want to throw in the towel yet, but they look bleak.
Yeah, they do. But I'm going to remain hopeful. We're going to change a little bit to boxing. Smoking and Jim and I were honored by Jose Carabella to announce and film boxing in Millville. First Golden Gloves fights in the history of Millville. And the VFW number 118, they just squeezed the ring in there 20 foot by 20 foot. It just fit in. They had a few hundred people there. They turned away 350 people. Wow. People were in the streets. People were watching it downstairs. They were streaming it. We were filming it. It was, what an exciting night from the first fight to the last fight. One of our fighters that we're big fans of, Colleen Davis, won the fight. It was one of the fights of the night, nonstop boxing. Her opponent, Maria, never gave up, just kept pounding away at each other. Two women boxers, that had to be the fight of the night, Smoking Jim. What are your thoughts?
I agree. You know, we watched Colleen Davis come a long way.
Yeah.
And she's always been very dedicated and did her road work. And
Great
but
shape.
Of all the young ladies that Jose trained, the Puerto Rican Prince trained over the years, she was probably the least talented. But I tell you what, with dedication, hard work and dedication and heart, like Chip said, she's
already a three-time Golden Glove winner.
To me, she looked like not only can she be a national champion or Olympic hopeful, but I think she'd be a good professional fighter.
Professional
as well.
too.
Yeah, she can.
So it's not always the size of the dog in the fight; it's the size of the fight and the dog.
I like
right?
that, Chip. I
Yeah,
like
well,
that.
Question for you guys, boxing wise. I know a friend of our show, Brutal Brendan Barrett, was fighting for a heavyweight
Yeah, I didn't hear
championship
what
Saturday
happened.
night. I hear there was some extracurricular activity after the fight that
Whoa.
nobody could comment on. I haven't
didn't
been
hear
able to
it.
find out anything. All I know is that he made it back to California, and he couldn't comment about what happened after the fight. So
Wow.
apparently something went on, and I think if he would have won,
What's that? I can't see.
Duke's down by 3 still.
Ah,
Oh no!
So when we find out about our friend Brendan, you know, I
we'll have
guess
to
we'll
find
see
out
what
with
we
that.
can find. I was hoping maybe
no,
either
I
one of you.
I
heard
didn't hear.
something.
Usually I see his Facebook page. And
I've been
stuff, but-
watching
Yeah, I
Facebook,
didn't see
Instagram.
anything
Haven't
come
seen
up.
I know
anything.
Bobby Lashley lost his title on Monday Night Raw, and Ronda Rousey walked off.
Rousey.
Walked off and left
Where'd
her
she walk
belt.
off?
Yeah, she got mad and left her belt in the ring. So.
See, don't you hate when kids take their toys? They just leave.
Well, ask Sarah.
Take your toys and go home.
Sarah is friends with Ronda Rousey, so you could ask Sarah. What? No way. We're going to have to say goodnight, folks, but I wanted to shout out to Matt Conway on his 16th win down in West Virginia. What a young champion he is.
Why didn't we go?
You didn't want to go. It was the same night we were doing fights.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We can't be everywhere. I end each show with stay Joey strong.